Hey class, so today we are talking about multi-party negotiations and when they are effective and also the considerations we should take when we decide to have a multi-party negotiation and what those challenges entail so that we're prepared going into these negotiations to make sure that they are efficient as possible and that we achieve the desired goals. So we'll start with the positive. I think that they're great to use when you have something that requires you to be creative, when you and another team are working to, I don't know, it could be develop something. Maybe there's a partnership or some type of merger and you need expertise from both parties. I think that's a great time to have a multi party negotiation because you do want to make sure that you're in the negotiation, all the different factors and considerations are accounted for in a productive manner. So I think that's a really good time to use them, and almost that scenario requires that. The other thing could be something really complex. Maybe it's, you guys are solving a really big problem or challenge, and so more hands on deck, the better. But with that said, you also don't want to overwhelm the negotiation and have too many people. I think it's really important that when you are going into various negotiation scenarios that there are just the right amount of people present, and it needs to be not just the amount, but it has to be the quality of the individual that brings something to the table that will help solve whatever problem or challenge is at hand that you're negotiating. Some things that can be challenging, however, when you are doing a multi-party negotiation is that you could have procedural chaos if you don't have an agenda. You want to make sure that there's an itinerary and the topics are lined out and that everyone comes prepared and educated on the subject matter that you're discussing. Another thing you want to make sure that doesn't happen is formation of alliances within the groups, or even conflict of interest. Maybe you have somebody from one side of the team that's somewhat in cahoots with someone else on the other side of the team, or actually, it really probably happens more likely in each respective team. But in any case, the other thing too would be dysfunctional group dynamics. So that could be one of the hardest things or one of the most frustrating things is when you are in one of these big group negotiations is there's so many sidebar conversations. And I think that limits the opportunity to solve the problem because not everybody is having the same exposure to these conversations. And when you're having sidebar conversations, not everyone can listen, right? And that's a key element to negotiation, is to really listen to the other party. You can also have groupthink where everyone basically thinks the same. So, because if someone in the group, maybe the leader of one group, goes in with a certain mindset, that could ricochet into the rest of the group. And so you've got a whole group of people that have a shared thought. And I think that limits your ability to be creative and flexible in your negotiation. And then what else? Simultaneous talking. I'm not sure if I said that already, but that's always difficult too. So, again, pros and cons. And I think that, again, it's really important that who is the most important person to bring to these negotiations, and make sure that they have value and that everyone that is attending this negotiation is educated on the matter. And lastly, make sure you have an agenda and everyone has an opportunity to speak and listen, of course.